Hello and welcome to the program. Thank you for joining us. This is the Money Show. I am Nancy. Today's edition of the program, the ambassador of St. Vincent and Grenadines will be joining me shortly, of course, to look at the investment and award conference that will be holding in his country sometime next month. I think precisely on the 10th of October. So today's interview will be a follow-up. I would also be bringing you the interview that I had with the special advisor to the president on economic matters, Dr. Adeyemi Dikpeolu. I had that interview like not up to 2 weeks, but close to 2 weeks ago. And it's still surprising that most Nigerians don't know there's an economic advisor. So I will be bringing back that interview for those of you that did not watch that show that day. But meanwhile, let's get started because we have a lot to talk about. The MPC meeting started yesterday. It will end today. Meanwhile, the Minister of Finance, Kemi Adeosun, has urged the Central Bank of Nigeria to lower benchmark interest rates in order to lower debt servicing costs for the government, which plans to increase local borrowing to boost the economy. The Finance Minister had last week announced the planned injection of 350 billion naira into the economy to pull it out of recession. The Monetary Policy Committee of the Central Bank of Nigeria commenced its meeting in Abuja on Monday and will hold a press briefing at the end of the meeting today to announce its decisions. Of course, the CBN had increased interest rates to 14% from 12% at its July meeting. Of course, that was the last meeting in July. All right, joining me right now is Mr. Chukwu. That's Johnson Chukwu, who is the Chief Executive Officer at Cowrie Asset Management. Good morning, Mr. Chukwu. Are you there?
Yes, I am. Good morning, Nancy.
Good morning. How is Lagos?
Well, Lagos has been a rainy day. It's been raining cat and mouse here. So it's a really wet day in Lagos.
Oh, it was a wet one here in Abuja yesterday, of course, towards the evenings. Of course, it's rained here in Abuja yesterday. But will the rain fall today at the end of today's meeting, the MPC meeting? Where do you think they will swing to? To Kemi Adeosun that wants a lower interest rate despite the independence of the Central Bank of Nigeria. Will the Central Bank go to fight inflation with all its fire extinguishers, or will it hold, or will it pursue growth? Which do you go for?
Well, if you recall, the CBN governor during the announcement of last year MPC meeting said that they had two options. One was to fight for price stability, and the other one was to push for growth. That their primary objective was to maintain price stability, and they were going to the decision we took was in favor of price stability, which was why they pushed up monetary policy rate to 14%. But right now, and if you recall also, the last time I was in your program, I said that with the announcement of a negative GDP growth rate of 2.06%, that it is now imperative for all economic managers, both the fiscal authorities and monetary authorities, to come together and say that we need to reflect this economy. What the minister said, that he expects the MPC to lower it, is in tandem with what we have been expecting. And I also believe that the MPC at this point in time will realize the futility of trying to maintain price stability at the period when your economy is crashing. So I expect that those who will push for monetary accommodation will actually outnumber those who will push for contractionary policies. So I expect that the monetary policy authorities will reverse the contraction we've seen in the past couple of months and go for a more accommodative monetary policy, such as reducing the cash reserve ratio from current 2.5 and also reducing the monetary policy ratio from the current 14%.
Okay, because it seems that at the end of the day, if you're looking at the central bank right now, for me, I'm just wondering how they will balance their acts, so to speak, because at the last meeting in July, interest rate was raised to 14% from 12%. Of course, chasing inflation at that time, that hit about 17.1%, which is the highest inflation in 11 years. In fact, all the inflation rates we are getting now seems to record highest. Nigeria has not been in a recession now. I think the last time we were in a recession was like 25 years ago. So how much sense will it make for the central bank to lower interest rates right now? What will be the signal abroad that we are just dilly-dallying? Isn't that a factor to consider?
Well, I think the first thing is that we have to look at how do we manage our our local economy. While we stimulate economic activities, today economy is gradually shutting down, and we must recognize that. Several companies have closed shop. We've seen the manufacturing sector GDP growth rate of negative of 4.6%. We've seen the oil and gas sector 17.4% negative growth rate. We've seen contraction in the telecommunications sector. These are areas that started to be growing. So you've seen all the key sectors that should be propelling growth in an economy that should ordinarily be a young economy where there's no mature sector, all contracting. So the primary objective today is, yes, it is nice. It's nice if we can attract foreign portfolio investors. But foreign portfolio investors are not only going to be attracted by high yield on their trading business. There are other conditions that will attract foreign portfolio investors which are not presently available. You don't have stability in your FX rate. You don't have strong foreign reserve. You don't have liquidity in your foreign exchange market. Those are major constraints that will actually serve as a disincentive for foreign portfolio investors. So our focus should not be necessarily on foreign portfolio investors. But again, if your economy is contracting, no direct investor will come to your country because you are going to an economy that is growing, not an economy that is slowing down. So if we do not address the internal or what we call exogenous issues that should propel economic growth, we will not likely attract foreign portfolio investors and foreign direct investors. We need to stabilize the exchange rate. We need to restore growth in the domestic economy. We need to create a those are the more critical issues than just attracting foreign direct portfolio investors. It is good to do that, but I can assure you that if you do not stabilize your exchange rate, if you do not improve on your reserve, if you do not narrow the spread between the parallel market and the official market, you are not going to see a bullish activity from the foreign portfolio investors. For now, the Monetary Policy Committee and the fiscal authorities should have a convergence of interest, and that interest should be to restore economic growth. When the economy begins to grow and productivity improves, price stability will eventually be achieved. But price stability cannot start in isolation. You can't be pushing for price stability at the period when your economy is collapsing.
You know, so does it make business sense now, right now? Does it make absolute economic sense that the Central Bank of Nigeria's MPC reduces rates? Are you worried that, you know, there seems to be a little bit of political interference, or we should rule that out? Everyone is going for growth. We need to put back the economy on track. Is that the situation?
Well, I think what she did was express her opinion as one, as an economic agent, two, as a minister. She is not going to force on them. The Monetary Policy Committee made up of 12
members,
independently minded, minded members, and the votes are done individually. So what matters is their opinion on these issues. But my take is that today, everybody should be on the same page on restoring economic growth.
Which is lowering interest rates.
Which will require injecting liquidity into the banking system, restoring banking system liquidity. The reduction of cash reserve ratio and the monetary policy is one of the several things they need to do. We also need to review the yield on treasury bills. We need to review the treasury single account. These are the reasons.
What do you mean by review TSA?
Okay, what I mean by review TSA is that today we have about 3.5 trillion stabilized. You can use any IT platform to determine what are the balances of those MDAs in the banks. You can also impose 5% or 6% or whatever percentage interest rate on those balances with the banks. If those balances are with the banks, they will be productive in the economy. Today they are stabilized, they are not productive in the economy. We are losing the productivity of about 3.6 trillion, which should be working for us.
Okay.
And if you move back 3.65 trillion into the banking system, without necessarily allowing for the suboptimality we had before, where balances were not accounted for. With IT platform now, you can see your balance at the press of a button. So you can make sure that no balance, you don't have negative balances, whereas the funds are still working for the government and working for the economy. So we need to bring back those liquidities that are sterilized.
Okay.
And That's the only way the bank can resume their lending activities. If the banks do not lend, I can tell you it will take us 20 years to come out of the economic recession.
Anyway, there are a lot of questions that will come out of this actually. How much have our banks been lending in the past? But perhaps we need to look more at the banks now. I understand the banks are having a very tough time right now. The banks are laying off their workers. They are reducing salaries if they are not laying off. I was speaking with a friend yesterday in one of the top banks, one of the managers of the top banks, and he told me, he said, Nancy, 200,000 have been cut off my salary. That's what he told me yesterday. And I said, oh, 200,000, that's a lot of money. Some people don't even end up to that in a month. But anyway, let's continue to watch the situation closely. Mr. Chukwu, I think I have to leave you right now. We will monitor the MPC outcome, isn't it? You are in Lagos, so you'll be watching, isn't it, what they will do here in Abuja. But I will be there later this afternoon, and let's see what Emefiele and his men and women will come up with today. All right, many thanks for joining us. Talk to you later.
Okay, great.
All right, let's quickly move ahead. Nigeria's foreign exchange reserves have fallen to a new low of $24.88 billion, indicating dwindling confidence in the economy despite reassurances by the authorities. External reserves lost about $230 million in 1 week due to the central bank, of course, as post-recession announcement pressure continues. As Nigeria slipped into a recession, last experienced more than 25 years ago, the reserves have lost about $540 million as speculation and panic for stock value in dollar heightens. Central Bank of Nigeria has emerged as the major player in the interbank market since the inception of the new FX regime, except when recently foreign investors staked about $270 million, while others remain cautious as they are sitting on their fences. The reserves have also lost about $1.6 billion since the inauguration of the flexible exchange rate, even as the Apex Bank steps up a modification of its rules to attract foreign investors, including those associated with investment in government securities. All right, moving straight ahead, the Minister for Budget and National Planning, Senator Udoma, says that the federal government plans to raise $2 billion through the concession of the existing Lagos-Kano-Port Harcourt-Maiduguri rail line. Udoma explained that the federal government had released 400 billion naira out of the budgeted 1.8 trillion naira capital vote for the year. He said that discussions were ongoing with General Electric to take over the rail line as part of efforts to multiply revenue sources to fund the budget. Meanwhile, Nigerian stocks closed on Monday on a negative note that it was a bearish start, as the all-share index depreciated by 0.07% to close at 27,839 points. Of course, compared with the 0.4% appreciation previously, the year-to-date returns still stands in the negative territory, 2.80%. Let's take a look at the price of oil today. The price of oil is falling after Venezuela said that global supplies needed to fall by 10% in order to bring production down to consumption levels, and the technical indicators also pointed to cheaper crude futures. Global oil supply of 94 million barrels per day needs to fall by about 1/10 if it is to match consumption. Venezuela's oil minister said that on Monday. International Brent crude traded earlier today at $45.82 a barrel, down 13 cents from its last close, while the WTI was down at 19 cents at $43.11 a barrel. Let's quickly take a break, and when we come back, my guest will be joining me. Of course, we'll be looking at St. Vincent and Grenadines, the Investment and Award Conference. I want to know what exactly is happening right now. The Award and Investment Conference will be holding next month. He will be here just after the break. Join us again.
A video. Protests in Maiduguri and Abuja with no official reaction, as names of high-profile public officers are mentioned by angry victims of Boko Haram terrorist activities and failure of government institutions.
We are calling on Secretary to the